Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Think Rugby podcast. How are you, Zav?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just had a really nice weekend away back in the promised land of Scotland, seeing the family and that, and also got a chance to watch the Scotland-Portugal game live at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. I was waiting to call it BT Murrayfield, but it's changed hands to Scottish Gas Murrayfield. The game itself we'll get into in a minute, but nevertheless, it's been 2 years since I've been to Murrayfield, and nothing's really changed. It's still very, very cold, and still very, very busy, and usually has a good atmosphere. But yeah, so I can't complain. But yourself, Andy, what have you been up to?
Yeah, my brother's been up visiting Shetland this weekend, so yeah. Didn't catch as much rugby as what I would have liked, but still had probably as good a time, if not better, than catching up with some of the rugby.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you've got so many games. I mean, like today we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 5 or 6 like big games. That's not including like the small games that are going on. Jam packed, some very, very close affairs going on, which I mean makes it absolutely great from a neutral point of view, neutral viewing, seeing games going back to forth and teams coming back into the games as well. Also some pumpings, which we'll get into, which I mean some people take great delight in, and we'll digest that later in the episode. But before that, well, guess who? Our good old friend. So far I am leading 28 points to 24. I am good. Yeah, did I say I'll do the clues first? Or, yeah, I'll let you guess first.
You read out yours first.
No worries. Excellent. Okay. So remember at home, what to do is see if you can guess before Andy, essentially. See if you can guess before me, from when Andy reads out the clues for myself. Keep a tally of what your score is at home. See if you can reach 50 points before we reach 50 points. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube, go into X, follow me at Think Rugby Podcast and Andy Moore at Andy Morsons at Andy Moore, and also on TikTok at Think Rugby as well. Okay, thank you very much. Clue number 1. I am a former England international player and my age is 51 years old.
Ex-England player, 51 years old. Mike Tyndall.
Ooh, incorrect. Number 2. I played for Leicester Tigers between 1996 and 2006. The clues get easier after this.
Steve Borthwick.
Ooh, incorrect. You're in the right kind of era though. Number 3. In my career, I played in the backs and I was a utility back. I'll even give you the positions that this guy played. Scrum half, fly half, full back and winger. At a professional standard.
He's maybe too young, but it's not Johnny Wilkinson, is it?
It's not, no. Once again, you're still in the right era. So, former England international, 51 years old, Leicester Tigers for 10 years, and the utility back. Clue number 4. I took a stab at punditry, which is where you would now find me most these days.
Martin Johnson.
Incorrect.
I'm maybe rushing this.
Number 5, and I mean, if you know me, and I mean, I think a lot of people agree with me. Number 5, as I'm a commentator slash pundit, myself personally finds him irritating as fuck.
This is such an obvious one I've not gotten.
I'm trying to think of any other clues I can give you, but I don't think I can.
Is this person still working with ITV?
Quite possibly. Do you mean it with the rugby?
I mean, for being a pundit.
Yes.
He still works with ITV, right? Well, that rules out Sir Clive, then it's not him. I've maybe been too trigger happy this week. I've just been, immediately naming it. Martin Johnson when he's clearly near fucking back.
I can't give you any more clues. That I generally can't. Like, I don't know how.
This is annoying me.
Played for the Lions.
Ugo Monye.
Unlucky. 0 points. You know this one as well. Austin Healy.
Fuck's sake.
You knew it, did you? Irritated as fuck. Honestly, like, I don't know what it is about him. I just think he always says the most obvious things. Like, you're watching it, and you think it, and then he'll just go with it, like, repeat, even though it's the most blatantly obvious of things. And it's like, sometimes you just feel like telling him, just like, shut the fuck up. It's like
it reminds me of like Michael Owen for the footballs. So for me, Man City, when they don't score, they hardly ever win.
That's literally it. That is literally it. It's most, like, stating obvious things, and you're like, why do you even need to mention that? It's just like, just for the sake of speaking, really. And I was like, I remember when England were playing Wallabies, Marcus Smith put a kick into the 22, like a penalty kick or punt over to the 22, and it was like 40 metres, and Austin Healy was like, oh, you really need your fly half kicking that into the 5 out and everything. I was like, mate, it was like a 50-metre kick you just did. I was like, get a grip. Yes, ideally, but you just fucking get on with it. Oh,
yeah. I know exactly what you're on about. Yeah,
just honestly. Anyway, 0 points to yourself to this week on the unlucky, mate. So, would you care to go for your?
I'm going to be really annoyed if you get something like 4 points here. Clue number 1. I was born on the 3rd of May 1992, making me 32 years old in the grand old place of New Zealand.
Gareth Anscombe.
Incorrect. I began my playing career in Australia.
Oh, you love these really, really out of the box ones, because obviously born in New Zealand, start career in Australia, 32 years old. I can guarantee he doesn't play for either of these nations. That's all I've got so far. It's 32, born in New Zealand, and started career in Australia. Yeah, okay. So 30 years old. Let's say, well, it's not Sonny Bill, he's like 37, 38. Let's say he is. I'm just going to go for a guess. I'm going to say Alatoa.
Incorrect. Clue number 3. I have over 30 caps for my country.
Over 30? Can I get a clue? Can I say, is it below 40 caps?
Yeah, it was just the fact that Wikipedia was only updated up to October 23. It's like, yeah, that I kind of really, because it said 30, so that's why I put in over 30.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it could be one of the Scotland boys, you know. It's like Skinner was born in England, or was he? If I know his position, this would narrow it down a lot. Obviously, start to become a bit like Austin Healy there, stating obvious. I'm going to say 30 caps in the country. Oh, was he born in Australia though? I'm going to say Samu Kerevi.
Incorrect. Clue number 4. At 6'8" and having UK size 17 boots, I played second row. Size 17, that's bloody massive.
Yeah, I think I know who it is now. Is it Will Skelton?
Correct, that is him.
Nice. So 2 points.
Yeah, 2 points, yeah.
Do you want to know a really, really cool fact about Will Skelton?
He was playing at the weekend, and that's where I took inspiration for this sketch.
He played a very, very good game at the weekend. Also, my mate, if you're watching this podcast, you know you sometimes do, Finlay. His partner grew up, went to Australia and ended up becoming friends with Will Skelton's wife. And this weekend, they were at the Rugby Australia-Wales game, sitting with Will Skelton's wife, and he actually got to meet Will Skelton and shake his hand. And he said when he shook his hand literally disappeared into his. His hands were that big. And he looked down at his feet. And he said his feet were so big. And as soon as you said size 17 feet, I was like, that's got to be Will Skelton. But yeah, that's a lot of bit of history in there. So you never know, might be able to get Will Skelton on the podcast one time. We can maybe slag off his massive climb feet then, if we'd be so brave. Okay then, right.
It's easy to chat shit behind a screen.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do, is it? Little keyboard warriors. Moving on. Right. Speaking of which, some very good rugby happened the weekend. Well, Skelton had a good game. Australia had a very good game. We'll wait a little bit longer till we discuss them, though. We'll start with the Ireland game. They hosted Argentina in Dublin, or was it? Yeah, it was Dublin at the Aviva Stadium. They scraped past it. Being honest, it was, you know what, for the most part it was a decent game, but literally after the second half, after the first half into the second half, there was very little scores at all. Like, it was very, very bit start-stop, bit scrappy. I would like to put it down to defensive efforts, but I actually think it was just kind of dead kind of game, second half. Ireland have definitely, like, their bubbles burst a little bit. They're not firing, well, nowhere near full cylinders, but not firing nearly as much as what they were. I mean, they were lucky not to lose that game. If you think about it, if you watch the game, pardon me, Argentina missed a drop goal, and they also had at least 2 or 3 chances to kick for posts, which were very, very, very kickable chances as well, which they kind of blew and went for the points, because at the time they were probably searching for the win instead of the draw. Will Ireland take it? I mean, a win's a win, but you can kind of see by their reactions at full time, they weren't overly happy with it. There wasn't much achieving in that. It was like, okay, job was done, but we need to do better. I mean, you can't knock Argentina. Argentina are a quality side, but it just was not like a phenomenal Argentina side. They were missing a lot of key players there, and some of the better players were on the bench and had to come on later on in the game. I don't think you've seen the game, Andy, but if you did, got anything else to add?
No, I never managed to catch the game, but looking at the highlights and taking it from there, the one thing that comes to my mind, and I said this in the summertime when we first started the podcast, are Ireland at the end of their cycle with Andy Farrell? Is it time to freshen things up? I know he's going to be going on his sabbatical for the Six Nations.
The Lions.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, they fell short, really short at the World Cup. They bottled it, as we know. Yeah, they won the Six Nations this year, but
they still lost to England.
Well, it was such a hollow kind of win and feeling, and to be quite honest, with the exception of this win that they had down in South Africa in the summer, nothing really jumps out at me as, yes, we're still on the right track and we need to get behind Andy Farrell, but we know that the situation is. That's my thoughts.
No, fair play. Like I said before, I think their bubbles kind of burst a little bit. Some of the players that were really stepping up and playing good, very good world-class rugby, they just don't seem to be the same. I don't know if it's a psychological thing or they just need a rest, they're just mentally exhausted. I'm not sure. Maybe they're not taking it seriously because they've got the Six Nations and they're not trying to give too much away. I really don't know, but I think they really are. I mean, you mentioned they beat South Africa twice over South Africa as well, but I just think they're still missing Sexton on the big stage. Like, Crowley he went completely into his box this week. He had to get taken off. And Pendergast, who played alright, but he's I wouldn't say built like a mean pro, but he's a very slim lad. He's 21 years old. He's quite slim. Is he physically good enough for international rugby? Is he just good enough in general for international rugby? I think he is and he will be close into the future. Please excuse the ambulance go past my flat. But I think going up against that physical Argentina defence coming up in your face, I just don't think he had what it took. I mean, when he was like Crowley, give him his due, he can't create things out of nothing. But when it was Prendergast, I just don't think he has that ability just now. Probably because he wants to impress and show that he can't follow the system. Because Ireland are a system-based team. There's no beating around the bush there. They follow a regimented system and try to stick to it with a little bit of flair there. So I think with this young lad Prendergast coming in, he was trying to get the system right first before trying anything flashy, and he just could not get ticking. Argentina did quite well at the breakdown and managed to nullify the Irish attack. Once again, I think like Hansen and Lowe had relatively quiet games. I mean, for being an All Black, being a Kiwi and an Aussie, I mean, I don't even think they would get into their own like original nations. Never mind, they should be getting into the Ireland team. I think they just get in the Ireland team because at the moment Ireland don't have any other superstars that can give them that moment. I mean, you can argue Carver Nash.
No, I think that's the point. I mean, they've a lot of like experienced senior players like Bundy, Ake. What's the scrum half called again? No, not Gibson Park, the other one. Conor Murray. You know, those two players at the top of my head, they are aging. They've lost Sexton. They're about to have a lot more like senior players. Yeah, they probably won't make it to the next World Cup, and they're coming into this transitional phase. Is it easier to get rid of one guy, or to get retire off effectively by these players? We'll soon see what happens, but
I'm sure we'll look a year on and be proven right. I also think they are aging side. So we'll just see how it goes. We'll move on to the next game. Scotland vs Portugal. Now, I know you just caught the second half of the last 20 minutes, but I was there for the whole game, and I can say, well, actually, to be fair, I think you caught the 20 minutes. I never, because I left the stadium quite early because I was just fed up. I did go back in. I never completely left it, but I did go back in. But it was just so start-stop, so scrappy, just quite flat. I mean, usually when you go to Murrayfield, it's really upbeat, especially when you're winning 59-21. But I'll just say that again. They got 59 points, but they conceded 21, 3 converted tries. And once again, when did they concede these tries? End of the first half, start of the second half. Well, at least got two of them conceded then. It's not good enough. I don't know why that's 2-3 weeks in a row now. They just switched off between that like last 10 minutes and first 5-10 minutes of the second half. It's like, is there something in the air or something that is only Scotland managed to get caught by that? They're so bad at it now, and is it a mentality thing? It's not an ability thing. It's not an ability thing because the players show when they got ball in hand what they can actually do. Even though that was a second string team that put out. I mean, honourable mentions to Stafford McDowell, even Darcy Graham. I know Darcy Graham. I mean, you expect him to perform. I think Aaron Reid had a decent game. He got 2 tries. But I mean, Tom Jordan got man of the match in that game. I think anyone could have really got man of the match in that game because it was a walk in the park, especially in an attacking sense. Defensively, though, switching off. I mean, right at the end of half time to go in. What was it, 33-0 up at half time would have been a dream, and they conceded a 7-pointer, albeit the kick was a good one from the sideline, and it's just not good enough for Scotland. I mean, the Springboks close, you'd think like a clean sheet would be in order against a team like Portugal, who let's remember, Portugal lost to England 90-0 in the summer. I think it was 90-0. It was like just after the Six Nations. They come over to Scotland, play Scotland A. Let's be honest, it was a Scotland A side, and they lost 59-21. Is it progression for Portugal, or is it that Scotland's depth is not as strong as other nations such as England?
I think you've covered it there, mate. There's nothing else I would want to add. Johnny Matthews came on,
He
and
did.
controversially, he missed a tackle
Yeah.
with a Portugal try. So,
No, you
no,
know what?
I don't disagree with anything you've just said there.
You know what? It's you see the players, and they've got really, really good players in that Scotland setup. Like I won't lie. I think Tom Jordan at 15, I was very sceptical to start with, but I think he has played well. I mean, it's not confirmed. Maybe it's confirmed now, but he's on his way to Bristol Bears. It's a little bit shitty. This is a topic for another day. A little bit shitty that he's been at Glasgow in Scotland for this like 3-4 years, got his residency to play for Scotland, and now he's fucking off to the Bears. But at the end of the day, Scotland are in debt. They're in a lot of debt. Offloading his wage, I mean, I don't know if they'll even get money for him. Probably will get a little bit of summer cash for the Bears for it, but they can't offer what Tom Jordan's probably capable of, which is why he's off to the Bears, financially in that kind of aspect. I mentioned McDowell. In the park, I mean, Bayliss, Muncaster, I was really impressed with Ben Muncaster. He's kept his place to play Chile for Scotland Day this week. That's on Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Hive. I wonder if that'll be a sellout. So there is a lot of promise. But then you look at that bench I mean, was it Miller Mills and who was the other prop on the bench on Saturday? I'd like to say Sutherland, but I don't think it was.
Sutherland, did he not start at tight head? No, tight head, loose head.
It would have been loose head he started, although he can cover tight head as well. But nevertheless, it's like you don't have like that bench is the same bench you'd have up against like a Springboks and that. So once again, is the depth properly there? I mean, in the front row, of course, there was lots of other like changing in and outs in like the backs and the bench and that. But at the same time, I mean, Jamie Dobie, he was on the bench. He was on the bench against the Box. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he would have been, yeah. But he's been picked again for the Scotland A team.
Yeah. So, I mean, a Scotland A team to me is a completely different team. Because as much as it was an A team that played against Portugal, they branded it as a Scotland team.
Yeah, no. I think credit where credit's due. You've got to say Scotland have done a lot of work as a Tier 1 nation with Tier 2 nations, getting a lot of rugby played to help the kind of the development and participation in these Tier 2 nations. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why they went for the fourth test, because they were only able to get Portugal as one of the three. So
yeah.
It was a nothing game.
It was a nothing game. Like the atmosphere at the stadium, it was flat. It was literally flat. Like there was no. The only time I heard "Follow Scotland" be sung, and I'm being serious, was when the anthem was being played. Not once throughout the game. And you know what it like usually is. The best bit of like atmosphere was a Mexican wave going on. And I mean, oh my god, anyone can start a Mexican wave at a rugby game. Shoot what happens in every rugby game, in every stadium you go to. So yeah, but nevertheless, a win's a win. It is good they're getting these games against like Portugal, getting inexperienced guys game time like Muncaster. Even McDowell's not played that much for Scotland, and I think he was captain as well. He was captain this week, no less. And also against this Chile team, even more inexperience coming through. Greggy Hiddleston for Glasgow, he's starting at hooker. Gregor Hiddleston used to follow me on Instagram actually before he made it pro, and he unfollowed me, but never mind. But he's an example of somebody that came through the pathway, played for like Glasgow under 18s or the 20s, got into the Glasgow side. He was playing also for Stirling County, I think it was, in the Super 6 when he wasn't getting a game for Glasgow. Now he is sort of getting a game for Glasgow, not all the time. Of course, he's got to compete with like Johnny Matthews and players like that. But now he's getting his chance on the big stage. Yes, okay, it's just an A side, but you're playing with like some Muncaster, even McDowell, Mosese Tuipulotu. He's going to be very exciting to see what he can do. So there is a lot of promise in that team. Also, Arnwood at fullback. That's an interesting one. That's a what's the phrase I'm looking for? That's one that's a bit out there. Caught me off guard. Arnwood going 15. Is it just just like a bit of rotation? You can't play there, so just put him in there, or is that a genuine like potential fullback for Scotland in the future to compete with likes of Tom Jordan and compete with likes of Kate Corn? I've never seen him play fullback for Sale. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be quite a while before Kinghorn is really knocked off his patch unless he's injured for Scotland at 15. So
Yeah, you would like to think so, unless he's got to start wing, because that's the good thing. That's the point I'm trying to make about depth is they do have the depth in the sense that you can have Kinghorn at fullback, or if you want to put Tom Jordan fullback, Kinghorn on the wing, which means that you've got Darcy Graham, Kyle Stein, and then Duhan to all fight out on that wing. So one of them or two of them's got to be kept out the match day 23. That's a really good position to be in. But what if one or two of them gets injured, which Darcy gets injured, Duhan can fall off form, Stein's injured, what if Kinghorn gets injured? Then who do you bring up in that place that can still do a job? I mean, South Africa have like 4 or 5 wingers who would walk into the Scotland team just now. Do Scotland have that depth? Or same with England, they've got so many wingers who can walk into it. Scotland don't have that depth, and that's the depth they need to start. But it is building blocks bit by bit, playing Portugal with some starting 15 players or some 18 players, and now playing this game against Chile with just 18 players. So yeah, we'll move on from there. That we covered quite a bit there, and it's probably a lot to take in. So we'll move on. England vs Box. I know you watched the full game. I never watched the full game. I was travelling home, so I got bits and bobs in. So I'll let you cover this one mainly, Andy.
yeah, controversial game. I have to say that the Springboks carried a lot of the same grunt and aggression that they had against Scotland into the game against England. Did help as well with the fact that they had the squad rotation, rested a lot of players against Scotland, started a lot of them against England.
Mm-hmm.
If it was any other opposition, I think England probably would have won this game. Yeah, I would say so. The Marcus Smith, dare I say it, he might be English, but in my opinion, he is the best, or certainly the most informed fly half in the world right now.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
I think he's a toss of the coin between him and Damien McKenzie just now for the most informed 10. But the one thing you would say is
that the same Damien McKenzie that you don't rate at 10 for the All Blacks.
Yes, but he's actually playing very, very well. I can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
I think you can agree too, though.
Yeah, he's goal kicking. That's the other thing, yeah. The goal kicking, South Africa, I don't know what it is with Manny Lebok. He is phenomenal with the ball out of his hands, crossfield kicks, but goal kicking, I'd rather back to Blair Kinghorn than Manny Lebok. That's how bad he... And it amazes me how he's never improved. Like, this has been going on since I'm pretty sure, like, the World Cup. I mean, they put on Pollard just to get the goal kicking sorted against England, but yeah,
it's a weird one, isn't it? Because like you say, ball in hand, he's so good and dangerous, but as soon as it comes to a bit of composure off the tee, I mean, what if, like, it does happen, some match winning kicks, and he's the man you got to rely on. It doesn't work out. They actually lost somebody else I'm on about, but yeah. So the point still stands. It's very important at this national level to be able to, convert at least 80% in your kicks. I know for a fact he's well below that. I think he's in the mid-60s, which is not good enough. That's not good enough for amateur sometimes.
No. The other thing I would say is some players, like for England, Freddie Stewart didn't have a great start. He was a bit unlucky, I think, in a couple of instances.
I'm going to assume he was picked not because Furbank's shit, because Furbank's been playing really well, but because the high balls, because the Boks do like to kick it quite a lot and do a lot.
Yeah, he was playing at 15. Yeah.
So I assume that. Yeah, so I was assuming that was why. I think it was. I mean, you can understand it in theory, but at the end of the day, Furbank's been playing pretty well. And it's a shame that he's been dropped like that. That is just the joys in having a bit of depth and being tactical. But I mean, that's now 0 wins and 3 losses for the Borthwick in England in this Autumn Nation series. Not very good. They've played... Who have they played? They've played Australia, they've played Box.
And the All Blacks.
And the All Blacks, yeah. 3 losses. And going into that, I thought they would have probably won definitely 2 of them. And they always run the box close. It's always a tight game in the box. So even potentially 3 there, but no, they've lost all 3. It has been close games. What I don't understand about England, like, what is wrong with them? Once again, is it a mentality thing to keep going? Because they always seem to start games very well and very fast. I don't know about this game. Yeah, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but they all seem to get off the blocks really quick and just slowly tail off and towards the end. It's more when, dare I say it, Marcus Smith gets shifted from 10 to either go fullback or go to the bench, then it starts to crumble. Did Smith come off at the weekend? Can you remember?
Yeah, by the last 20 minutes, I was kind of enjoying the pints of Guinness and the pub.
No, that's all right. No, it's just something that I bit of food for thought, because again, that's been the issue the past 2 times.
But then, how many times have we said that this bomb squad comes on for South Africa and they just, whoever they play against just runs out of steam? Like, we've seen it happen against Scotland, albeit it was a weakened Bok team, and Scotland and England are completely different at the minute. That's why I'm saying, I mean, if it was any other opposition, I think England probably would have won this game, because only the Springboks have got that extra power and just mental toughness to keep on going.
Yeah, they are quite formidable, to be honest. But no, fair play. England will get there, I feel. Hopefully it's not in time for the Calcutta Cup off them, but it's a bit later than that. But I think they will get there. They've got a strong basis in the team, and like their depth is pretty insane. I mean, it's easy for me to say, I would pick this guy. But I mean, I'm sure Borthwick has his reasons to why he picks certain players, but there are a few questionable people in that side that maybe doesn't deserve it, and maybe more in there because of a few contracts, cough cough, George Ford. But that's just my opinion anyway. But
I told you he was terrible in my opinion, but
who was sorry?
Maro told you I thought he was terrible.
I don't know why I told you still gets a game for England, being honest. You got so many players that, I mean, are younger than him. Yeah, okay, their maybe leadership qualities not there, but you don't.
I think it's the contract thing as well. I think that
it'll be the contract thing, but also you don't need a told you there for leadership qualities, because England choose about 50 different vice captains in that match day squad anyway, so it's completely.
Scotland are bad for that as well.
England had 5. I'm telling you, they had 1 captain and 4 vice captains. And one's a vice Scotland are bad for it, don't get me wrong, but that was ridiculous. In England, why do you need that many leaders on the pitch? It's stupid. But yeah, Toji, he's just kind of applauded doing like 6 out of 10 performances, the odd 7 out of 10 performance. Sometimes you just want that to be that next level, like to have an Etzebeth who will go an 8 or 9 out of 10 performance and get you that win over the line, being a big leadership player on that team anyway. But yeah, I told you baffles me quite a lot, and I swear if he gets on the Lions tour, like I'm done. I'm done. I'm not saying I'm done with the podcast, but I'm just done. I just cut my books. Yeah, I hit my books. I saw furious arm. Fucking hitting everything everywhere. But yeah, so full time was 20 points to 29. I mean, semi-comfortable win from the box. Which what wasn't a comfortable win was France edging a thriller against the All Blacks. Well, 30 points to 29, right down to the wire. I mean, it always seems to be.
No, it's just one of the best atmospheres for the Haka I think I've ever seen.
Oh, it was really cool, was it? Like, I mean, there's been a lot of controversy about the Haka. I mean, with Joe Marler about the Haka, and like if you're able to respond to the Haka. But I think that was perfect. France didn't really respond to it, but it was just the lighting. It was complete darkness. Had both teams lit up. Oh, it's absolutely. That's what makes it entertaining. That is rugby entertainment at its finest. I mean, an absolute blinder from, I take it was the French Rugby Union Federation.
Yeah, the French are masters at marketing rugby. We just need to head over there. The British unions, and just be like, where are we going wrong? Go to France, do some research.
That's exactly it. I mean, when you've got two professional leagues and you're a second tier league attracting with a shit ton of money, and also attracting people not just to go to like fill out the stadiums, but also to watch it on TV and to be on mainstream TV. That is incredible. I mean, I know that a lot bigger country, but nevertheless, that is absolutely incredible for rugby not even being their top sport. Football's a top sport. Well, for the time being anyway, because I know football's on the demise. But once again, topic for another day, maybe not even for this podcast. But yeah, brand-wise, it's phenomenal. I mean, I think the best thing they did was let DuPont go play sevens, because that's completely that's just brought all kind of rugby together. More eyes on the screen, more bums on seats. And it's making it really, really, really interesting, especially in the French, when the country of France. The game itself, I mean, once again, I was heading up the road, I was watching bits here and there. It was really hard to in a bus full of people. But no, tough watch, because I always like to see the All Blacks winning. It's not often I'm like, okay, fair play. When they do lose, I'm usually quite sulky. But this French side, I thought the bubble had maybe burst a little bit. But I mean, they kind of proved me wrong, because I mean, you go and beat the All Blacks who went to Twickenham, won, and also went to the Viva, and also won. Sorry, not Twickenham, Allianz Arena, and also went to the Viva and won as well. So they were on a bit of momentum, had some momentum. France hadn't really played that big side yet. They'd played Japan the week before. I mean, Japan, All Blacks, can't really compare the two.
Big golf.
And put an absolute statement win on them. And yeah, very good game to watch. It's good to see DuPont back in action as well for France. Only the second time this year, I think it is.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Next games, we've got Italy and Georgia. We both watched bits of this. You probably watched a little bit more than what I did. Italy squeezed it. I mean, it was a bit of a worry to start with. They were a good few scores down. Neither Nashville.
They were slow on getting started, but they were streetwise enough to get the job done, was what I thought. I mean, Georgia, yeah, a bit of grunt or whatever, but I can't help but wonder, did Italy maybe overachieve a little in the Six Nations this season? We'll never know until this next season, but between the loss to Argentina, heavy loss last weekend, and this result, maybe they're, because it wasn't that much of a weekend team that they put out.
It was relatively strong, but I will say the one thing that Italy are starting to build is they are starting to build depth. Slowly, but they are getting there. That is still a weakness when it comes to the Six Nations and competitions like that, is they don't have the depth to compete. However, the sooner they get their depth sorted out and they manage to get Montijuani out of that Italy team, it'll be so much better for them. I think he's so overrated. I've no idea why he doesn't. He gets a game because there's no depth in Italian rugby. Capuzzo was out with his HIA. That was a miss. Paulo BC was playing, I'm pretty sure. Good bit of leadership. Yeah, likes of Negri and Lamero playing as well. I think they played pretty decent as well. You also had Ross Vincent. I mean, I think Ross Vincent's got potential to be an absolute generational talent. He's definitely the replacement for. I mean, I know it's like 5-10 years, well, not 10 years, 5-6 years later, but I do think he is the replacement for Sergio Parisi in that number 8 role for Italy. And that's maybe a big statement, but I also think he is. The Six Nations he had, he's not playing quite to the same extreme, but he still is very, very capable. I'm surprised he never got into the breakout nominations, breakout player of the year nomination.
Oh yeah.
I honestly thought he would have be in there, but he never. I mean, there's some players in there. I mean, probably yes, rightly so, but I honestly thought Ross Vincent would be there. But never mind. I think never mind. Nina Nashvili for Georgia, 22 years old. I mean, I didn't even realise he was 22. I thought he was a proper mature, like in his prime rugby player. The way he plays. I mean, I assume he plays in France because he's too good to be playing in Georgia. Here's an interesting fact: Georgia only have 8,000 registered rugby players.
Yeah, I heard that the commentary. Yeah,
That's incredible to have an international rugby team doing that well. I mean, if you like to say well, but yeah, they are doing well. If you put in hindsight, if you take in consideration 8,000 amateur registered players compared to Scotland, where we've got what, maybe 5-6 times that.
Oh, I've got no idea.
I would assume so. For all the grassroots rugby in that as well. So very well done to Georgia for doing that, because it must be a really, really big mountain to climb, especially when a lot of the players play in France as well, and they might not even bother playing for the Georgian national side. But yeah, fair play to them. They just lost 20 points to 17. They're building brick by brick. There's going to be that fight and debate whether there should be the Six Nations or not. Probably not yet, just based off just losing to Italy. They probably need to beat Italy a couple of times to be in that proper conversation. Well, actually, to be fair, I probably have to beat Wales a couple of times. Never mind Italy, because more Wales are in a position now. Speaking of Wales, how did they get on, Andy?
That was an excellent segue. Wales were apocalyptically shit. That's how Wales got on.
They were fucking naff. I mean, credit where credit is due to Australia. 52 points. You've got to be a team flying high to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, Welsh rugby is in the worst state. Wales are at their worst. How's that for some alliteration? Wales are at their absolute worst. Whole calendar year, unless they pull a rabbit out of the hat. Warren Gatland's been saving all his tricks for the Box game. I can't see it happening, but you never know. They'll go a whole calendar year without a single win or draw.
Yeah, and Warren Gatland will be both Wales's best and worst ever head coach. I can't remember what the score exactly was at around the 60th minute, but I do remember seeing it go in. I was like, there's something wrong here. And sure enough, the heads went down. And I think it was one of the centres that let the Australian guy run in for one of the tries thereafter. And oh my God, that is, you cannot, that, we were on about in the Rugby Championship how bad Australia were. Wales were as bad this weekend.
It's almost as if they said, hold my beer.
No, that's me on to 20% batteries, so we'd better...
Won't be long. The Wales should be like 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, Wales essentially just went, hold my beer. we're the new fucking shit team here. You've got to give credit where credit is due. Will Skelton came back. I mean, your guess who? Hopefully our mate on the podcast in weeks to come, Will Skelton. He had a good game. Tom Wright had another very good game. He got a hat-trick. Facer, Haka got a very hat-trick, very good game as well. Valentini could have got behind the match as well. Honestly, that hit he did on Christ Tunza. Ucha. Absolutely knocked him for 6. Nothing wrong with it. Absolutely legal as well. What you like to see. Big dominant hits, which are legal. What I will say is if he was like a half inch higher, I mean, you know a lot.
Yeah.
You know a lot about half inches, Andy, but
lads.
If he was a half inch higher, then it would probably be the yellow or red card. Being completely honest, but that's a fine margin of rugby, and he absolutely creamed Christ Tunza. But yeah, very, very well done, very well played. Noah Lurseo, very good off the boot, also in open play, very, very good. Iketel, I think, did alright. I think he's better at 12 with Sualili at 13. Karevi got sent off, that'll be him done for this. He won't be playing against Ireland next week, that's for sure. But no, that's not next week, that's the week. No, it is next week, or is it the week after?
No, it's the week after.
It's the week after, my bad.
Fiji this weekend.
That's right, yeah. So, yeah, sorry, my bad. Wallabies have, so of course, Wallabies have Scotland. But, so that could work in Scotland's favour, but I honestly think Ikitau and Sualili 12 and 13 partnership works very, very well. And that's how much the show, like, Australia knew Wales were not a threat, was when they decided to bench Sualili instead of starting. They're like, we don't need him, let's just leave him. He will start against Scotland, I'm very confident he will. And we don't need to risk injuring this superstar we've got because we've got Karevi coming back. Let's have Karevi. Okay, he got red carded, so Suwali did eventually come on. So yeah, it's a good position for Australia to be in. Speaking about like creating depth, they are starting to get depth. They brought an ace squad over to play likes of England, likes of the Bears and that, and they've been doing all right. Not won anything, but they've been doing all right. Yeah, okay. So that is all the results from this weekend. What we're going to do is we're going to give our predictions for this weekend's results, and we'll leave you from there. So we'll go from Friday, and we'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. France vs the Pumas. Who have you got?
France by 10.
I've also put France by 10. I just think, the Pumas, like Argentina, do very, very well at the minute, but I just think France, coming off that win against New Zealand like that, you can't really see past it, and that's the only reason I went France by 10. And also, Argentina don't have all the best players available at this current moment in time. Ireland vs Fiji.
Ireland by 5.
Ooh, I've done Ireland by 20. I just think the reaction that Ireland will give, they need to put a statement. And I think they're confident they'll beat Fiji anyway, but the statement game could be Fiji. Fiji might have rested a couple of boys who might think, the target in that Wales game, there's no point trying to break our boys against Ireland, but you never know. If you think Fiji by Ireland by 5, then fair play. I'm not knocking it, because it is believable the way Fiji are playing, but it's just not quite Fiji at full strength yet. But could be proven wrong. Wales vs the Boks.
Boks by 30.
I've also put Boks by 30.
We haven't discussed this off camera or anything. This is literally raw, uncut. Yeah, that Wales team they're not doing the Gatland thing. They're not 10 out of 10 effort. We covered it a bit last week, but yeah, Gatland will serve Wales until after the All Nation Series, and then he will likely leave. He won't get sacked because the Rugby Union can't afford to get rid of him.
No.
He will leave.
He will 100% leave. 600k a year. Yeah, he's got a nice little pay packet there. Okay, Italy vs the All Blacks.
All Blacks by 15.
I've put All Blacks by 30. Fair shout, going 15. Once again, not a stupid number to say. You could maybe say 30 is a stupid number, but I just think the All Blacks once again need a reaction, and they'll probably see past Italy quite comfortably. The big one, Scotland vs the Wallabies. I've went Scotland by 5.
It's going to be very, very tight. Scotland by 2.
2, alright, yeah, fair play. Fair shout. I just hope they manage to compete with Sueli and Ikitown centres. Ikitown with a bit of punch, and Sueli with just being an absolute baller. Also, Tom Wright playing out with skin, probably one of the best back 3 players in the world, if not the most informed back 3 player in the world just now. He's playing very, very well. Once again, Valentini, McWright. I dare say Wilson will be back from his head knock. I could be wrong, but he'll be close to getting back. The Scotland game, Tate McDermott's been playing out with skin coming off the bench. You've got Gordon, that's starting. 9, you've got Noah Leaseo doing very, very well. But on the other hand, he's got these Scotland boys who've had a week's rest, played well for 70 minutes against the Boks, and they'll be looking to get a win. They'll be looking to make it 3 out of 4, and that'll be the expectation going across Scotland and Scottish Glass Murfield on the day. Last one, England vs Japan.
Yeah, England are going to get the revenge on Eddie Jones. England by 20.
I put England by 25, so pretty similar to you, with you, to be fair. Once again, England are no walkover. They've narrowly lost 3 games, albeit they've lost them, thankfully, but they've lost 3 games. This will be the one they've got to win. Once again, if they don't win by 20 points, then there's something very wrong, because Japan have been an absolute pish. I put that a lot down to Eddie Jones's tactics, just like Gatland's tactics with Wales. Just I put it a lot down to that, and maybe not having all the players available, but mainly because the players might not want to play for him. But that's what I think. It's quite interesting this week. You've got Joe Smith going. No, that's the week after. My bad. It's quite interesting. You've got England. Eddie Jones going to Twickenham. This will be the first time he goes to Twickenham since.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it would be. Yeah, he never went there when he was Australia coach, and certainly not been there since he's been Japan coach. The week after this, you've got Joe Smith going back to Aviva, which will be quite interesting. I think he'll get a good reception there. I'd like to hope so, but I think for this week, there's no way Eddie Jones is getting a good reception at the Allianz Arena. Not a hope in hell. And let's see how it goes, but I think it'll be an absolute pasting. Okay then, that is all for me for this week. Andy, I'm beating the 30 points to 24, and guess who? You need to get sharpen up and get your game together, because 20 more points. I think by Christmas I'll have you on toast. It'll be a nice little Christmas gift for you. Maybe like a bag of shit in the post or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
then.
guys, thank you for watching, and just check out all the links in the description. Follow us on the socials, and give Zav some shit in the comments and through his post. It's me that uploads the video, so I may leak his address. Never know.
You may cut out my little snarky comments as well, but I'll leave it up to you. Okay, then. Right. Thank you very much for watching this week, guys. It's been a pleasure. And stay tuned on the socials for more, and also stay tuned for our running commentary on X, especially Andy's running commentary on X during the games at the weekend. Thank you very much.
Cheers.